We are not licensed medical professionals. The thoughts and opinions expressed on this podcast are meant to share our experiences and not to diagnose or as a form of treatment. If you or anyone you know is currently suffering, respectfully encourage them to seek help from a licensed medical professional. The topics discussed in this podcast may be triggering for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to Now Try It With Wine. I'm Des.
And I'm Mary.
And in today's episode, we are reliving 1 through 19 since today is our season finale.
Yay! When done.
It's like a good and bad. Like I'm happy because I'm tired, but I'm sad because it was fun. But we're only going to be on hiatus or like a break for like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, I think it was 3 weeks that we decided on.
So today, Mary and I are kind of doing how we did, I believe it was episode 10, where we did like 20 questions for ourselves. But it's more so like questions regarding the episode. So Mary got the first 1 through 9, and I got 10 through 19.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should you go first, I guess?
Yeah, I'll kick us off. Okay, so my first question is, in the boundary episode, we talked about our religious beliefs. Is there any other boundary that you have felt that you're coming against other cultural beliefs?
I guess like being like with family member, just getting that boundary with family, that's different because you're supposed to like love them no matter what and listen to them no matter what. And now I'm like, no. What about you?
I think the biggest one has just been the way I've structured like my marriage is very against cultural norms. Like I understand that, you know, he sometimes does more of the housework than I do, but I just mean like the dynamic of being vocal in public or not. What
do you mean?
Like I'm a lot more vocal than I see my other relatives behaving with their partners.
Oh, okay. I understand. So in episode 11 with Now Try It With Beer, since that time, has your relationship, like, I know you just answered it, but I guess like be a little more in depth with it. Has it changed since now you work from home?
Yes, I do more of the housework cleaning stuff, but then I got mad and stopped doing it. So then he started helping. It is a little different now that I have more time at home than he does because he's gone a lot longer than I am. So even though certain things have gotten better, like with the cleaning, neither one of us want to cook.
Yeah, that's true. That's Andrew and I.
So we've been eating a lot of I hate takeout right now because I've eaten too much of it. So we've just been eating things I can make in the oven or the microwave.
Hey man, that's still cooking at home though.
Yeah, at least it saves me a trip leaving the house again to go get something.
Even if it's a pizza.
And those Uber Eats fees, man, they kill me.
They're expensive. I'd rather just like drive. I'd rather drive than do the Uber Eats or DoorDash because that's too expensive. If I want to get like a 10-piece from McDonald's, all of a sudden it turns into $27.
Yep.
I'm like, no fucking way. By the way, they're in a lawsuit right now.
Who?
DoorDash and Uber Eats, I think.
Oh, for what?
It's one of those. Because they were charging differently depending if you had an iPhone or an Android. Like by like 20 to 50 cents.
Dang.
Yeah, for like delivery fees. I'm like, it makes sense why my shit was so expensive.
Even when you try getting like the Uber account so that it doesn't charge you, it's still expensive.
I know, like it's like, oh, no delivery fee, but the delivery fee is like the smallest portion of everything.
50 cents, and all these surcharges still come into play. Yeah, it
for
sucks.
real. I think that's another thing too, like hidden fees. I'll send you the link because I can't remember.
In the validation episode, you talked about your grandmother coming to you in a dream. Have you had any other relatives that have passed away come to you in a dream?
She's my only relative like close to me that passed away, so no.
How about a dog?
No. You're like, what about the dog? No.
Tell me about the dog.
No, it's just her. I'm like trying to think. But everyone I'm close to, I swear. I'm gonna like, I'll be gone for a while if like someone passes away really close to me. What about you? Because I know you had it with your... No, that wasn't a dream.
I did have a dream about my stepfather, but he wasn't actually there. So like soon after he died, I had a dream where I was sitting in a restaurant, like, and I wasn't hungry because I was upset about him passing. And then like the restaurant owner told me I had a phone call. Very Sex and the City, I know. And
Madam, you have a phone call.
so I picked up they brought me a phone, and I picked up the phone, and it was him talking to me, like just telling me that it was okay, that he couldn't see me right now, that he had other things he was trying to like organize, but he didn't want to tell me because he knew I was upset. And that just to take care of my little sister. I guess just all the things I was hoping he was going to say. But I question whether or not it was even him just because I didn't get to see him.
Do you think like maybe that was your mind?
That's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm.
I know my dad had a dream. I think we talked about it in the grief episode. My dad, like, he owns his own 18-wheeler truck. And at the time, it was, like, really bad. Like, every time he would drive it, something would break. And it was getting expensive. Like, at one point, my dad was like, I think we should just sell the truck at this point because it's not working. And we were, like, telling him to pray about it and, like, do what's best. And he said that he was so, like, concerned over it that he, like, went to sleep that night. And my grandma came to him, but he didn't see her. He just said that, like, he just heard her say, like, mijo, it's okay, but like in her tone. Yeah. And when she would say it to my dad like that, he would be like, okay, like it's gonna be fine. So when he woke up, he said that like he was crying and he was like, I guess it's gonna be okay. But I mean, in the long run it did, but it was, I don't know. Like he still says like my grandma came to me and everything.
Yeah, maybe just the way you see it.
Yeah.
So now that we've asked like 2 questions.
Yeah.
Let's get to the wine.
Let's dive in.
Do you want to introduce one or do you want me to?
I'll introduce it. It's fine.
Okay.
Let me grab it.
I didn't want to slide it because I knew I'd knock it over.
So today we're drinking Stella Rosa. Oh, shit. L'Original. It says it's an L. What is that? Apostrophe?
Oh, like the little acento over the accent?
No, it's an L and then like, is it an apostrophe?
I can't even see.
Oh, damn. I don't know. It's a Stella Peach, a low alcohol grape wine specialty with natural peach flavors. Oh, it's got a Tastings 91-point gold medal winner of World Wine Championship. I didn't know that was a thing.
Me either. We should look it up though. If it's good.
I was about to say, I was like, we should look it up. Okay, we'll do the opening. And do a little pour. That made a weird noise.
It did like a poop.
Ugh, I don't want to.
It smells very peachy.
It does. It smelled really good when I poured it for us.
I got this wine at the Target, if you're interested.
Oh, fancy. Target. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Oh, that's real good. Mm-hmm. That's real sparkling.
I appreciate that it's low alcohol because sometimes I just want to drink it to sip on something, not necessarily to get drunk.
Mary, I've never heard you say that.
I like when I'm eating. I don't want to get drunk while I'm eating.
Period. You right. I really like this one. I know we've had the red blend from them. I liked the red blend Stella Rosa.
Oh, the black?
Yeah, it's that black bottle one.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we reviewed it on air yet.
I don't think we have.
I think this is our first Stella Rosa that we've done on air.
No, I think we did another one. I remember saying it. So, plug in for next season. Mary and I are going to start taking pictures of the wine that we're drinking, and we'll put like the stars and everything. So stay tuned for that. I think because Mary was like, I think it would be easier, like we're saying it, but it'd be easier if they want to try it with us, to take a picture of it so they know, like when they go to the grocery store, this is what I'm looking for. And I was like, oh my God, Mary, you're so smart.
Especially since the ones that we really like these Stella Rosas, because Des and I drink a lot of Stella Rosa.
Yeah, lately.
Mm-hmm. And the bottles look almost the same. The color is the only thing that's different.
You know what? That one and the cupcake brand. Mm-hmm. That one has a Moscato, but then they also have a Cab and a dry white in the same bottle type.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh. So you're right. It would be smarter, and that's what we're going to do. Again, we're still like trying to figure out our new system for season 2 because...
So bear with us.
Yeah, we're not really good right now social media wise. I kind of just put shit out there when I feel like it. And that's not good for someone that's trying to make their podcast stand out from others.
We'll get it.
Yeah,
We have a lot of ideas. We'll talk about it at the end. We'll announce more stuff at the end.
Season 2 will come. Question 3 is not a question. It's I've gotten this question multiple times, so I thought I'd put it to people that aren't friends and family. For episode 12 and 13, we had my dad on for accountability and toxicity. We actually recorded them I think we recorded like one Monday, and Mary and my dad kept talking. So we were like, okay, let's do it to Tuesday. Like, let's move it. Because I think it was almost like 11 at night when we did it the first time. And when Andrew edits, obviously, like, I live with him, we're married, so I'll sit with him and not edit with him, but like sit there and like just listen. And I like being there. I'm not micromanaging, I just like being there. And we noticed that someone was breathing really loud, and we could not figure it out until we did figure it out. But we can't mute. It was my dad. We couldn't mute him. Like, there was nothing we could do about it.
And I thought it was me, so I was literally holding my breath, throwing myself on the side of the chair to breathe, and then coming back to the mic.
I remember like us kind of noticing and like giving each other the eyes, like ojos, like, do you hear that? And then we just be like, nah, we're just being extra. So when Andrew and I started editing, we were like, who the fuck is breathing so loud?
So my question 3 is actually a question. Have your trust circles changed since the first time we did the activity in the trust circle episode?
Since the recording, no. I think I was pretty like how you said it, Mary, I was very realistic on who I actually wanted to like put in there. I have recently like stopped saying my business to like specific people sometimes, just because I feel like they're not wanting to like help me better myself. Does that make sense?
Or being sincere.
Yeah. So I've like stopped little by little, but it's not like something like huge, and it's not like business like, oh my God, you hear this or blah, blah, blah. It's more so like, yeah, Andrew and I just kind of had like a weird bickering fight yesterday. You know, like they'd rather just hear it just to hear it than actually like want to help or like give
Offer
advice.
Any advice. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about you?
I think kind of the same thing. I found people that I thought I were closer in my circle that really weren't. Just because, like, I don't know. People sometimes feel they need to comment on things afterwards that I, like, you know, that you said in private, and then it comes into, like, comments later, and I'm like, I thought we were over it. Well, I'm over it, so why can't we both be over it?
Like, let's say an argument happened, and then in private you like discussed it.
Yeah, and then because it's not really happening with them, they don't know what happened after our discussion, so then they'll make a comment later.
I understand, but that's good. I mean, yeah, we are changing our circles, but it's good that we're self-aware that it's happening. Because you are right. I remember in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, I want my parents in the very, very smallest circle that's closest to me. And you're like, they're supposed to know everything then. And I was like, never mind. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, my mom's not there. I love you, Mom.
Mine is episode 14 from Love Languages. Since the episode of Love Languages, have you like tried to find out people's love languages as you're talking to them, or asking them to like take the test themselves? So it's like a 2-parter. So that's the first question, and then I'll ask the second one.
I'm noticing people's love languages more than I've actually gone out looking to see what their love languages are.
Really?
Especially for like this episode, I was recapping. I had to listen to the previous episodes to get questions. And you do talk a lot about the things that upset you the most, like when you got hurt, were revolving gifts.
I like almost drooled right there. I was like laughing and I almost fucking drooled. Yeah, it is true. like gift giving is my big thing. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, it was. There's a couple episodes I could think of in particular where you were like,
the $20.
Like they didn't even give me a pizza party, or they got everyone else gifts but me.
In my defense, I see gift giving as like a way to appreciate the person.
Yeah, but I never noticed that until we had the love languages episode, and then I was re-listening to them back, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's always been a big thing for her."
You're like, wait a damn minute.
Yeah.
Like if you come to my birthday party, I'm not expecting a fucking gift. The gift, in my opinion, is like you coming to the party. Like that's my way of like understanding that you appreciate and like want to be there to celebrate with me. But like, I'm leaving a job that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into, and my mental health was fucking disintegrated, and I didn't get a damn pizza party.
Yeah.
I got a maybe we'll pay your PTO. Maybe.
Ugh. Have you noticed anybody love languages or anything like that?
I did tell Priscilla to do it. I was like, you should do it. I want to see what yours is like, not like trying to, what's the word? Like compete or like.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, just out of curiosity. I don't think she has done it.
I was about to ask, what were her results?
I don't think she did it. And I like see my parents is a lot. I think my dad's a heavy gift giver or a gift receiver. He likes gifts.
That's how you get in with him.
The gifts. And food. We've been noticing food lately. Because Andrew would be like, oh, yeah, I made these burgers. So, backstory with this. I think I've said it before, but like my parents and my grandparents on my dad's side have a ranch, and they have like a couple of cows and everything. Well, you can't have two boy cows because if not, like they'll fight each other and stuff. So one of the mommies had a boy, so we raised him for 2 years, and then we raised him to butcher him. Mm. He was so good though. Andrew made burgers with his ground meat, and it was the best. But every time we do, we're like, thank you, Bob, for your sacrifice. Then we named him Shish Kebab. I'm sorry.
What does that have to do with love language?
Wait.
That was Bob's love language. He gave you the gift of his meat.
No, wait. I forgot to say the other part. I was more impressed with the burgers. I was like, oh. Andrew was talking about the burgers, and my dad was like, you know, I would love burgers, Andrew. Me, Abram. Abram would love burgers next time. Let me know when it comes to it. Or we made the stuffed pasta shells for my sister's birthday, and my dad was like, are you gonna like save some extra so I can take home? I was like, oh damn, okay.
Was there even any left?
No, there was a small portion left, but I gave it to my tias because I gave it to my tia so she can give to my cousin that couldn't come because he was on a job. And I was like, yeah, just take it. I think like it only had like 6 like at most.
Yeah, I ate a lot of those shells. I was like, are you sure there was even any left? Because Robert, either that or Robert fucking lied to me and said there was no more.
There was not. And that one that was like the small one that I had, but I just forgot about it by accident. When I started cleaning up when everyone was leaving, I was like, oh shit. And I was like, you want this, girl?
Okay. So since the emotional awareness episode, you had suggested you were going to try journaling. Did you actually try it?
No. Did you?
I do a little bit, not really like every day. And it's not the way I thought it was going to be either. Like I don't write it like, it's not like a diary. I just kind of like write. Yeah,
I think I expected it as a diary, but my Thea actually gave me like, so I have a big planner like you do. And then I have a mini planner, and that mini planner actually has like, for the weekly, like every day, like I'm grateful for, and that's all I do. I don't really put like anything else in there as like journaling wise. So that's why I'm saying no. Like I don't think I did it correctly.
I think if we did our own version of it.
And it's like dumb things. Like one's like I'm grateful for. I'm like I cleaned the house, and I put a smiley face with like a crying. I don't know why. That's just what I'm grateful for.
I mostly just write little short stories or like for my therapy notes. Like, like when I get really mad at Robert, I'll write it down. So I can talk about it in therapy.
You're like, listen, bro, I wrote it down, everything. May 17th right here.
Well, I don't ever talk about, like, if I'm going to have a discussion with him, I'll have a discussion with him, but I don't like whip out my notebook and be like, bitch, look at this day, 3:00. I don't ever do that with him.
I think we said that in one, right?
Yes, where I should start doing it. I only do it because when I go to therapy to talk about it, because of like that disassociation disorder I have, if it upsets me, I won't think about it anymore, and then I'll forget details about it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's actually new. Like,
yeah,
new
I'm
knowledge
realizing that I'm doing that. Like, I'll either rephrase it or I won't remember exactly what happened. So I'm starting to, like, if it really upset me, I need to write it down immediately. Otherwise, I'll forget by the time I go to therapy.
I want like a little more detail regarding it. I know like recently you got diagnosed with it. Are you still like learning things from it? Is it still like a learning path? I've never.
Yeah, it explains a lot of stuff. Like, apparently with disassociation, people tend to forget things that are really important, and they can't explain why. Like, there's big periods of like my life that I remember in like spots as opposed to like an actual period of time.
I don't even remember any of my childhood. I'm gonna be dead honest with you.
I remember spots of it really, really well, and then other spots I don't. But if I actually sit there and like allow myself to like remember and think on it, I remember things. And I have like my brother, of course, like where I'll tell him like, is this true? Is this true? I feel like I'm turning into PETA from the Hunger Games.
Why?
I'm like, Joey, did this happen on this day? Real or not real? Real or not real?
Oh my God.
And he'll be like, yes, but there's this part of it that you missed. And I'm like, oh shit, he's right. I do remember that.
Holy fuck.
I'm turned into PETA.
You're really into the Hunger Games right now.
I just finished rewatching it. And when he was talking about how he like his memories were blurring together, but you could kind of tell the difference. Like it didn't, like, cause sometimes I'll remember things and I'm like, but that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel like I'm remembering it correctly.
It's interesting. I think that's the best word to put it.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find someone for next season to come and talk to us about it that maybe knows a little bit more.
Yeah. I know that's like up in the air until we find like
the right person.
Yeah. Till we get the person. So episode 15 is Redefining Womanhood. This one's a little more, it's a question, but I'll just read it. This is our first Redefining Womanhood episode. We're thinking of making it a small series. Mary, what are you excited about next season pertaining to this series? So when we said that specific topic, after we were done with it, Mary was like, wouldn't it be a good idea if we made it like a mini series in our seasons, like interviewing like a specific woman regarding something specific.
Yeah, I liked the idea because I really like talking to my Tia Lupe, and I felt like she was in a really transformative period. She'd been out of the workforce for a really long time and had just re-entered it after doing schooling and like other things to get herself ready for it. And especially when like you're finally becoming independent, I know that like for me, when I moved out of my mom's house, I started making my own money and like doing things on my own without really having to rely on anybody else. It felt very empowering. So I kind of wanted to see how she felt during that time. And then, of course, it was more like her perspective, what it turned into when you heard the final episode.
Yeah, I will be honest. That had nothing to do with the episode. It was still a good episode, but yeah. I think like we should bring her on to like focus on that. Yeah,
because I know when after we were done listening to it, I realized that my idea didn't really come out in the interview. But I do think that now that like she has a backstory, it'll be different when she kind of talks about
her origin story.
Yeah, now that she's done her villain origin story, to bring her back and kind of go into detail more about this period of this time that she's in like transitioning.
Yeah.
So next season, I pitched it to you about bringing on other women in our family to talk about moments that redefined them and help them kind of make during their transition periods.
Oh, I can give you here. I have it right here. So we have Redefining Womanhood as the Stigma of Mental Health, and we already have a guest on. That one, I'm very excited for that one. I think that one's gonna be a toughie.
And then the one I had recommended that I was going to do, there was 2 of them.
14.
So there was of next season, episode 14. I'm going to have a friend of mine on, and we're going to talk about motherhood and re-examining our culture's definition of motherhood. We are all at different stages of our motherhood's journey about whether or not we're going to have kids, any fertility issues. So I'm excited to kind of deep dive into that and kind of see where our generation is really at.
Mm-hmm. I think we should also make episode 13 maybe
A 2-parter?
No. Like episode 13 would be a good redefining womanhood too.
Oh yeah,
For raising your siblings. Dang, we're just giving y'all all our topics and titles today. And we're just really excited about season 2. Season 1, obviously this was our first time. Mary and I were in a jam for a long time trying to figure out what topics we wanted to discuss. And in the beginning, I told Mary that I was a little like weary of bringing up all of my issues. Not because I'm scared someone's gonna like come after me or like I don't give a fuck what my family says. Mm-hmm. It's just more so like I was hoping that we could at least like get an audience. So it made sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and varying some content.
Yeah. So season 2, we're a little more put together.
Yes, much more. So we'll have about 4 episodes of that redefining womanhood in next season.
About 3 or 4. It's exciting. Well, I promise. You're going to love season 2.
Yeah, we are actually doing a lot more prep work leading into it. So it should flow a lot better.
I know we're plugging it in. It is our season finale, but like, I'm very proud of us this time around. Now we know what we're doing, guys.
So the next question is mine. We talked about the balancing effect our partners have on us in the body image episode. But when it came to your turn, you got distracted.
What do you mean?
In the episode, if you listen back to our body image episode, I talked about how Robert balanced me, then Priscilla. And then when it got to you, you changed the subject. I don't think you meant to.
Oh.
But I got to give Andrew his due. So in what ways does Andrew balance you?
He's very open with telling me he loves the way my body looks, even though I look like a beautiful, wrinkly potato. He's very like not nonchalant, like he's very open with it. I do struggle with acne, not on my face, but like on my back and my chest, and he does not care. Like I'm very self-conscious about it, and he'll be like, I don't care, Des, like you don't even notice it. Like if you really think about it, like I don't notice it, but I'm just so self-conscious about it that I see like every inch and every detail of it.
Yeah.
He's a good husband, I promise, guys.
Who said he wasn't?
Me, apparently.
Well, you didn't say he wasn't. It's just he talked about something else.
Yeah,
and I was like, back it up.
You're like, hold on, Tess. You never answered your question. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, he's very good at like making sure that I know I'm pretty. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What about you? I know you answered it then, but does it still pertain now?
Yeah, it's about the Robert's personality hasn't changed. He's the total opposite of me. I do think that he's become a lot more vocal lately.
About it?
About his dislikes lately.
Oh, damn. Andrew said I can't cut my hair short. And it's not like making, like, if I cut my hair short, he has no problem with it. It's just like, he's like, I like it long. And I'm like, honestly, me too. So I'm not going to fight you on it.
No, he's more like, I'm not going to do that. Or I'm not going to go there. Or no, that's not, I'm going to stay home.
That was early on in Andrew and I's relationship. That if he doesn't want to go somewhere, he won't go. And it's vice versa. I go to sleep at like 2 or 3 in the morning every day. And I wake up for work every day. But I sleep in. I'm not going to go into more detail, but just know. So it's really hard for me to get up on Sundays to go to church with him. So if I do go, it's a momentous occasion. It's just like he understands too, like it's because I stay up late and sometimes I'm working on the podcast. One time I was working on school. Sometimes I'm just playing a new video game. Like it's just shit like that. So he understands and he'll like make it known like, no, Des just couldn't come because she went to bed late. And it's vice versa. If he goes over to, or if I go to my parents' house and they're like, where's Andrew? He just wanted to stay home, and that's fine. Like, I'll bring him something.
Yeah, no, Robert will complain he doesn't want to go. And then when I'm getting ready, because I'm not the type of person to beg. So if I invite you and you say no, then I'm not going to invite you again. And he's like, I think he thinks it's an open invitation. So he'll be like, no, I'm good. And then maybe a couple of days later, you know what? I think I will go. And I'm like, I already told someone else they could come. I already told them I had the tickets. Like,
You're like, bro, where was this energy like 2 days ago?
I know. And then like a couple of days later, he'll be like, you know what? I think I will stay home. Like, you don't get to just flip flop. You say yes or no.
Yeah, especially Mary does like going to concerts and likes to go to the musicals. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of expensive tickets that can't be flip-flopped around.
Yeah, and as soon as he tells me no, he's not going, I immediately invite somebody else just because I'm a planner. So I have to know I don't want to have tickets that I don't end up using because I never asked anybody or whatever.
Yeah, and the last one we went to was like $80. And I think Priscilla said the Aladdin ones were about the same amount. So they're expensive at some
Aladdin
points.
was a lot more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, they're expensive at some points.
Because I paid extra for those because I wanted to be down at the bottom.
Oh, really? I thought the opera ones were like the expensive ones.
I know that there's a section in the mezzanine area that's really expensive because they have tableside dining. So they'll bring you your drinks to your seats. I have yet to figure out how to purchase those.
You're like, but when I do, I'll purchase them.
I think the Book of Mormon is coming next year, and a friend of mine really wants to go, so I think we're going to try to buy the fancy spots.
Maybe you have to, like, as soon as, like, the tickets come out, you have to order it, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I buy all my tickets through my season pass portal, and I never see them there, so I think I need to contact I need to contact the theater directly to get the fancy seats.
You're like, I'm a loyal customer.
I need this.
You know me and I know you. First name basis here,
Let's
guys.
just give it to me.
Okay. That was your question, so it's my question, right? Mm-hmm. So this one's for episode 16, which was work-life balance. Again, since then, at the time we recorded it, you were only a week in at your job now. And you were like, I'm not really sure how I'm going to balance this one. Like, I'm still a week in. I'm still in training. I think it's been a couple of months.
Yeah.
So when we recorded, you were only a week into the new job. How is it now?
It's pretty much the same, to be honest. I'm not very stressed out. When I'm done, I'm done. I have 2 days off, and like for once, I'm not anxious about what's going to happen while I'm off. Like every other place I've worked, I've been scared about like something coming through that I've been waiting on for a while and it not planning out. But I'm pretty comfortable with it. However, I do not volunteer for shit.
That's good.
Anytime they ask for like, hey, can someone do this order real quick? Unless you're specifically asking me, I will ignore you.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And they started doing this thing where they started adding people. So like they'll at me, at another guy, and I'll wait until they all say no, even though I know I could probably do it. I just don't want to set the expectation that like
you're a yes man.
Yes. Or that I don't go overboard. Like I don't try to like knock out as many things as I possibly can in one day. Like if I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah, that's how I am. As of right now, I do the bare minimum. But if they ask me, like you said, no problem. I am not a mean person. It's just more so I need you to respect that I'm only getting paid to do my duties.
Yeah, I don't get paid enough here to be throwing myself over, like trying to beat numbers and shit. Exactly.
Like, coincidentally, this week, which is going to be last week when we air this video, my manager's out for the whole week. So she was like, hey, can you take care of my claims while I'm out? That's no fucking problem. I can do that for you. You're gone for a whole week. You're right. When I'm out, she makes sure that she does not message me. And I'm going to do the same thing. That's just something that you should do. It's more so like, instead of asking me, it's just leaving me with everything and expecting me to do it. Obviously, I'm going to be pretty upset about it.
Yeah.
And especially, I didn't know exactly what her claims were. I'm learning. She kind of threw me overboard, but like, it's okay. Like, it's fine that I'm learning something new. And she's giving me the time of day to actually want to teach me.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, if they're going to teach me something, it better be associated with a bump. I know my responsibilities for the role that I'm in. I'm not fully trained yet. There's like a certain number of things I'm supposed to know how to do, and I'm about halfway through it.
Yeah.
So if like, of course, if they want me to do more to fulfill that part of it, of course. But if they want me to do something outside of that, I expect a bump.
Once you're out of training?
So it's not really it is kind of still like a training period, but like I'm in a group and we're assigned a certain number of, I'll just say it's states. So my group should know these states very well. I only know about half right now. So once I'm fully trained state-wise, and I know all of them, and if they want me to learn something outside of the group I was hired for, I expect a bump.
I understand now. So let's say you have 4 states that you have to look at and you're working on 2 right now. Once you learn the other 2, are they expecting you?
There is other groups you can join with harder states.
Mm-hmm.
So if they offer me a position in another one, I expect a bump.
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'm just saying, like, I'm okay learning that, which is fine. Like, if my manager's gone for the week and I need to just make sure that everything's afloat while she's gone, that's fine. It's more so when she comes back and she's expecting me to continue what I'm doing, that's when I would be like you, like, I'm expecting a bump, or I'm not going to do your work.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'm not going to do my work. Oh my God. I still need the job, you know.
Okay, so my next question. Have you tried any new techniques for improving your communication skills? We did a whole episode about communication and comprehension. Do you have any goals for yourself in this area?
My goal is to speak up when it happens. What Andrew's very open when he says it, that if I get upset, I either just leave the situation or just stop talking to him. And he's like, I know I did something that upset you, but you're not explaining to me what I did so we can fix it or we can talk about it. And I think it's just because, like, when I'm upset, I'm just like, I'm just going to leave the situation. Like, I don't fucking care. But I shouldn't be doing that with my husband, you know? Like, I think it's okay if you do it with an acquaintance, in my opinion, because, like, they're on the outer circle. It shouldn't pertain to them. But I think it should matter with my husband or your significant other, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my goal, to actually, like, communicate with him, like, okay, I didn't like what you just did. Even if it's something small, you know? Like, I don't like that you threw my leg off the bed just by accident. That's something small, but like it could be big for someone else, you know?
Yeah.
What about you?
I want to improve my orator abilities, like my speaking abilities. So I've been trying to bump up how much I'm reading and trying to challenge myself a little bit more with the books I'm reading to expand my vocabulary, because I feel like I'm repetitive with the same words and I don't like it.
I thought we were talking about, like, communication relationships.
Yeah, I don't really care about that stuff. I want to learn how to be more academically inclined.
Oh, I understand. Bro, you know what I've heard? I've heard statistically that if you read a thesaurus as well as a dictionary, you do, like, increase your vocabulary.
I've been trying to read more challenging books and then highlighting words I don't know and then going back and defining them and then trying to incorporate them into my conversations. It's been a challenge. Because I don't add them at me. I keep trying to look for ways to use them, and then I think I get happy with dropping the word in.
You're like, indubitably, and everyone's like, the fuck?
Like indubitably, Watson. But I'll like knock something over, and I'm like, oh, that was me, indubitably. Like I'll try to put myself in a situation to use the word.
Andrew and I, that's not what we do. We use old English shit. Like, if he's being dumb, I'll be like, that is poppycock, sir. Like,
I think relationship wise, I do need to get better about speaking up in the moment. I know that I do that where I disengage in an argument, but it's not like I don't go back and readdress it later.
I have a hard time readdressing until like 3 days later. And I'm very like salty about it. And I know when he's editing this, Andrew's gonna be like, because I am like, I don't know.
if my time is being respected on the interim. So if I've said I need you to leave me alone, I don't want to talk about this right now, we can readdress it later, I will bring it up later. However, if we're in the middle of the conversation and I feel like it's getting me upset all over again, I'll say again, I cannot talk about this anymore. We're going to have to go back to it later. So technically an argument with me could last a week.
Okay.
But I won't necessarily treat Robert any differently in between our conversations. It's just I don't feel safe. I have to like put some distance between it, then try again.
Just to clarify, it's not that like she doesn't feel safe communicating with it. Not like he's going to hit her or anything.
I would hope not.
Well, I just want to like, put that out there. Put that PSA. Honestly, I do like your goal. I'm sorry. I do like your goal. I want to start reading books. I just haven't found a genre that I like. I just haven't found one yet. I do see a lot. I'm like, for whatever reason, I'm on Book Talk right now. TikTok, and those look pretty good. Like maybe I might buy one at Barnes & Noble. Who knows?
Do it on Amazon. It's way cheaper.
Yeah, but I haven't walked in on Barnes & Noble's lately.
You're going to pay an arm and a leg for that.
I know. And even though I don't read books, I'm very like, I want hardcover. I don't fuck with paperback.
I love paperback. They're lighter in my backpack.
Nah, it's not for me. I only read when I'm home.
No, I carry books with me, so it's just lighter.
So my next question is episode 17, which is Boundaries Part 2 that we had with Emma. There wasn't anything that like stuck out to me that like we needed to go back in and
dissect.
Dissect, because we didn't paraphrase whatsoever. What I wanted to ask was, what statements stuck out to you when we spoke with Emma, or like what statement or what advice that she give?
That it's not an ultimatum if you're holding someone accountable for the way they've been treating you. Because I feel like that was definitely something that I struggle with, is like, I don't like ultimatums. I don't like having to tell them, you do this or we're not going to be together anymore.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. If it's something, if it's something stupid, like, I don't know, you didn't take out the trash, otherwise we're going to break up. Then, or if you don't buy me this, we're going to break up. Then of course that's an ultimatum. That's just you being petty.
And in my opinion, that's a stupid ultimatum.
Yeah.
Unless that's like your last straw.
But then how do you get to that point where that is what's breaking the camel's back?
You don't know. I've seen some TikToks about like moms that are like, this is why I divorced my husband. And I'm like, oh my God.
I've seen, I think there was an episode of The Secret Life of the American Teenager. It's a bullshit ass series, but I love watching it. There was an episode where the dad was asking the mom, like, what was it that made you want a divorce? And she was like, you asked me to make you a sandwich. And she's like, I realized I've been making your sandwiches for 18 fucking years and I was done. Because she was never a partner to him. She was just a maid.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, I understand what you're coming from.
So what was mine was when Emma said, like, it's okay to make boundaries, and the boundaries are working if the person is upset with you and questioning why you put them up. She's like, that's when you know they're working, because you are putting yourself first.
Yeah, and I think that it's enough of a boundary where they're being made aware.
Exactly. And she was like, it's okay if they overstep. You have to figure out, is it okay that they overstepped it a little bit, or should you go back to them and make it more strict? I loved having Emma on. I would love to have her again. She was amazing to talk to. And
yeah, I think she'd be good to have with maybe our toxic relationships or something.
I think so. And it was our first like guest that wasn't a family or wasn't a friend. I loved her.
Yeah, I think she had a lot of really good advice.
Mm-hmm. Period.
I really do think that we should have her on the toxic friend ones, or not toxic friend, the toxic relationships.
I think so. I know you were like looking for another person, but I wouldn't mind having Emma on.
Because I think she'd be really good at showing us, like, if someone else was encountering something that we talked about in one of our stories, what they could have done differently.
Okay. You had one more question, right?
I have 2.
Okay.
So I have the 2 wrap-up questions.
Okay.
So the first question I have is, overall this season, what has been something new that you've learned about yourself?
In the beginning, I did not talk.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm a talker.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy. I do not, like, I'm very open with family get-togethers and everything. I like hosting. I like not being the center of attention, but making sure everyone's having fun and making sure everyone's okay. Like a good hostess, the hostess with the mostest. So when we started this podcast, I was so quiet and very reliant on Mary to continue the story or continue the topic itself. And then I know in the beginning, like, boundaries, Mary was like, what do you think, Des? And like would kind of like pause and then look at me, and I'd be like, well, I think, and blah blah blah, Now I'm like, what do you think, Mary? Yeah, that's crazy. So here, anyways. I don't know.
I know. I think we had like a sit down after the first 2 episodes, because we recorded those pretty close, back to back, I think in the same day.
Yeah. And no, I think was it our villain origin story that came out?
Maybe that one. And then I know for sure the talk didn't happen until after we were done with like the 3rd episode.
Because I had a couple of family members come up and they're like, I'm tired of Mary only talking. I thought this was y'all's podcast. And I was like, damn, you right. You might be right.
Yep. So the last one, the thing I learned about myself, I didn't even talk.
I know, I was like, Mary, what about you?
The disassociation. I didn't learn it through the podcast, but over the period of the podcast and kind of like using some of the techniques we were talking about to work through the boundaries and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize like the fact that I forget things that hurt my feelings.
Wow. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Not the podcast, like helping you out.
Yeah. It gave me was helping me set the boundaries, and then like the making little notes and stuff helps.
Like, oh, so did you learn trust circles while we were like doing the podcast?
I learned my trust circles right before we started the podcast.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know like so when Mary and I like research or pitch each other stuff, Mary will like, oh, I learned this technique out here.
Out in these streets.
I was about to say, out in these streets, bro. Like Mary will say, I learned this while I was in therapy last week or a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it would be a good thing to talk about, like trust circles. That's crazy. That's actually exciting.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about other stuff next season. So that's what my next question was. The last question.
Oh.
What are you most excited to talk about next season?
Well, not episode 2. Hold on. I'm looking at it right now. I think maybe the expectations of household norms conflicting with new norms. Because I'm going to have my dad on, and this time I'm going to make sure that he stays on fucking topic. And the redefining womanhood, the stigma of mental health. I'm very excited to have that guest on. She's very open with all of her mental health, as well as other, I don't want to say issues, but like other, what's a word I'm looking for? Because in my opinion, I don't think they're issues. You got the quirks.
Yeah, that'll work. Quirks.
She has these things and is very close to me and very open, and I enjoy talking to her. And I remember like pitching it to her. I was like, well, what do you think? Would you like to be on? She's like, I'm so open about it. I'm open about it with everyone now, and I'd like to make sure other people know, and it's okay that like this is happening and this is going on, I'm trying to keep it as broad as I can so I don't give away the episode.
Yeah, too many details.
Yeah. What about you?
The one I'm most excited about is actually a Redefining Womanhood episode where we're going to talk to a woman who works in a male-dominated field.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that.
Me too. We got to make her anonymous.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
And she said she'd explain why. But I'm excited about it because I think it's interesting when women enter spaces that are male-dominated. I think now that women are not being confined to their households anymore, that's going to become more of a thing. So I'm excited to see like what kind of stuff that she was experiencing, because she's been in this field for, I don't know, like over 20 years.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me like it's been a couple decades.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Just recently, one of the YouTubers I'm watching, she started her own podcast, and I think it's this week's podcast episode or maybe next week's podcast episode. She's having the same discussion. She built her own house, like I think it was like a 1910 or 1930s house here in Texas, and she saved whatever she could, windows, doors, the fucking floorboards, beadboards and everything, and created it all new again.
Ooh.
So she's like, I'm technically now, like, I can say that I'm in construction and that I'm somewhat of a carpenter. She's like, I don't have my degree or I don't have like a certificate. She's like, but I know what I need to know to make cabinets and stuff like that, you know? She's like, so sometimes when I'm talking to men about it, like, oh, I need this cabinet this big, or I have this cabinet this big, so I need the oven like the specific length or whatever, and they'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know, you're a woman. So she was like, I think it would be good to like talk about this. So she's making a whole podcast episode. When it comes out, I'll send it to you, because I think it would help also like how we structure that episode.
Yeah, I think it'd be a fun conversation. And then the other one I was excited about, the personality tests.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I totally forgot about that. Okay. Can you...
I'll
yeah,
explain.
give a little info, because when Mary pitched it to me, I was like, oh my God, that sounds fucking cool.
My favorite psychologist is Jordan Peterson. I know, he's controversial.
It's okay. We understand he's controversial.
I don't agree with everything he says,
but he does prove points sometimes.
Yes, a lot of the time. I agree 9 times out of 10. There's always like a random video. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say?
I think that's everybody though. Yeah. Like with anybody, you're like, why? Why would you say that? Delete this, bro. Like,
yes,
anyways.
For sure. So there was an episode that he did of a podcast where him and his wife took a personality test that he created, and they compared all of their major personality points to see where they would bump heads on and give him advice on how to fix it. Well, him and his daughter created a website where they actually allow other couples to take the same personality quiz and learn about their couples' personalities. So I convinced Desiree and Andrew to take the quiz with me and Robert, and we're going to discuss the results on the podcast.
Is it free?
No. It's $10 a person.
Oh, that's not bad.
Nope.
I think I'm okay with that.
Especially if I get anything out of it, I think it'd be worth it.
I hope we get something out of it. If not, I'm going to be like, Mary, you owe me $20.
I'm going to tell you to email Mr. Peterson.
You're like, that's not my problem. I got to go.
Yep.
I'm actually really excited for that, to see like our personalities. Since Andrew and I like were dating, we always said that we were opposites, and we would always be like, oh yeah, opposites attract. That's why like we're married and everything. So that I'm just excited to see it. What about you? Like,
I'm excited because I think even though Robert and I show outwardly our personality is different, I don't think that we're that different.
Really? Honestly, I see y'all both like outspoken.
Yeah, he's just quiet.
Yeah, when he chooses to be, like, he's quiet, or like when he dissociates, doesn't care.
Yep. Or when he's drinking.
Nah, when he's drinking, homeboy is open.
Like best friends, everybody.
He's like, I just met you. Yeah, we're BFFs now.
For life.
We're besties for the resties.
Yep, that's Robert.
The last time we all got drunk together, he was fucking beating me up with my Pikachu plushie.
Oh my God, I remember that. I remember I fell asleep on the couch too after y'all started talking to me.
So like, it was like almost 3 a.m. And I was like, Robert, do y'all like want to stay the night, or do you want to go home? He's like, let me see what Mary says. I'm not even kidding, Mary. He like fucking pushed you to like your whole like body like
fell off to the side. Basically
like fell off to the side. He was like, nah, we're staying here. And I was like, okay, like, do you want to use the bed? He's like, nah, Mary's not moving. And I remember like one time, like when you were awake, you were like, yeah, once I'm asleep, like wherever I am, that's where I'm sleeping. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm not getting up.
I remember one time I got really drunk at my brother's house, and It wasn't drunk. I was drunk. I was drunk.
What? Did you say? Oh.
And
Oh, she was.
I was drunk.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on the couch and I kept passing out and then waking up like fully awake, alert, coherent, a member of the conversation. And then like I'd say whatever I wanted to say and then right back out again.
Oh my God. You were like, I love that. That's an interesting topic.
Yep,
Falls
and
asleep.
then blacked out.
You like wake up, you're like, are we still on that topic? No, what's new? Oh my God. Yeah, crazy. Blacks out.
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm done.
Yeah, that was my last question.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right. Well, that's the end of our podcast. Or that's the end of our episode, but we do have a couple of things that we want to introduce for next season, as well as I'll let Mary continue.
Oh, let's introduce ours first.
Okay. So season 2, we're doing something different.
We are premiering our regular season 2 episodes. Now Try It With Wine. We're moving days.
Yay! It's a little, instead of Sundays, we're going to continue on Tuesdays for Now Try It With Wine. And we're doing something else on Thursdays, which is...
Now Try It With Spirits.
Ooh, spooky.
Wait, pause. No, that was right.
Yeah,
that was the name
Now
of it.
Try It With... Which will be on Thursdays.
Yes. And both episodes are premiering at 7 a.m. on their respective days. Is that correct, Desiree?
Yes, ma'am. So season 2 of Now Try It With Wine will be June 20th, Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. Just making sure it's not next year, guys. And Now Try It With Spirits will be that Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. Our first episode for Now Try It With Wine, we will have a special guest on. Now Try It With Spirits, we're going to do, so this is our first season, so Mary and I are kind of figuring out. For the first episode, we are going to do like urban legends around the Mexican culture.
Yes, so basically how we're thinking of formatting the episode is that the first half of the episode will go into depth about a urban legend, a ghost story, some kind of historical, like Latino historical scary figure of some sort.
And then
or event or house.
So
anything scary, basically.
Let's bring it out, La Llorona.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the urban legend of her, and then at the second half, we'll bring the stories on.
And it won't necessarily be about La Llorona, but just scary stories from our family members or anybody really to just come on and tell us their spooky stories.
Yeah, like if we do have one, I mean, I'm pretty sure we are, obviously. If
I do have actually a La Llorona story.
Oh my God, you have to tell me after this. So if, let's just say we do have one about La Llorona, so we'll give you the urban legend, and then we'll have Mary talk about hers. These episodes are not going to be as long as the Now Try It With Wine episodes. We're trying to do about 30, max 45 minutes. These are kind of, what do we call them? Mini-sodes?
Yeah, mini-sodes.
This is just more so when
fun.
I think like in January, February is when we put out that what would you like to hear from us? We had many people say paranormal stories. Obviously, I love spookies. I love spooky stories.
And yet you're the biggest chicken I know.
Not true.
Who in this table refuses to enter the Zach Baggins Museum?
Puka.
Puka went in.
Nah. Andrew. He's in the same room.
He counts.
I'm superstitious. That's my thing.
I'm not real stitious. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
Yeah, I won't go into like abandoned asylums or like there's one here.
Yorktown Memorial Hospital.
Yeah, there's a hospital here that's abandoned. Won't enter. I don't even care. Like I'll do like the little drive-by like ghost tours and shit. I will not walk in there. In my opinion, I'm just a scaredy cat and I feel like something's gonna attach to me. And either Andrew and I already got something with the little girl, you know, like we don't need more.
We will not be doing paranormal investigations. I don't know if that needed to be clarified.
We will not be doing that. Mary's more than welcome to do them on her own and she can record them. Yeah, I'll like put like a little still picture of me in the corner. Like, did you hear that?
Yeah, me and Joey used to do like going to those creepy places, but we had this. We had this. I've been to Yorktown. And we went there for a tour. But Joey and I have this belief that if we're drunk, our minds will be open enough to hear the spirits.
I'm not. No, I think that's smart.
So I don't think that you'll hear any coherent thought if I were to record myself doing one of these.
Mary, imagine. You're like, did you hear that? And it's just like Joey like throwing up in the background. You're like, Joey, bro, you hear that?
Or us, our own footsteps.
Yeah, maybe like later on, you know.
Yeah, let's let Des get her courage up.
My courage is not going up anytime soon. So for now, we'll say scary stories and stuff. I'm very excited about that. And Mary is actually starting a new podcast. So she's going to give you a little more info about that right now.
Coming June 7th. Dun, dun, dun. I'll be introducing a new podcast called Eat the Bookworm, a bi-monthly book club podcast where I and my cousin Abby, sorry, no Des, she didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I told her I don't fuck with their books.
We will talk in depth about a current book we are reading, as well as any kind of book related content. So our first episode will air on Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. And in that one, we'll go in depth about the book of the month that we picked, which will be on our Facebook pages. In the second episode, we'll talk about book-related content, which is, I mean by like book-related news. If a new book's coming out, if something in the news like the book banning is happening, or if we have any personal recommendations of books we read that month, we'll talk about that in the second episode of the month. And that one will premiere on the third Wednesday of the month. So in between me and Dez's episode, it just worked out this way, I promise. I did not try to work around it. You'll get a little more book-related content if books are your thing, like they're my thing. So our book for the month of June, which will be the first episode, will be Know My Name by Chanel Miller. So for more information, check out our trailer that we'll be linking in the description box, as well as a link to our Facebook page.
And I'll make sure that we put it on our Instagram page too and our YouTube, because I do want this to grow big, you know. Eat the bookworm.
I'm excited.
I know. I'm actually excited to hear it.
Is going to do a crossover with us. She already committed to it.
No, I was forced, but
you committed.
I was forcefully committed.
Say how it got there. I got a yes.
It just coincidentally happened. So either way, there will be a crossover with us. Hopefully Abby is able to join us. Maybe she wants to do a Now Try With Wine or a Now Try With Spirits. Who knows?
We'll see.
But for now, we'll keep you on the edge of your seats until next time, which is June 20th, Tuesday. We'll see you in 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
3 weeks.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks for season 2 of Now Try With Wine. Our first episode is going to be generational trauma. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Don't you forget that charcuterie board, you heard?